what are your feelings on you sounds disciplined because there are a few penalties that maybe could have been avoided?
Yeah, they could. It's again to find balance in it. There's obviously they get guys sin-binned early on, and Matty Lees puts inside pressure in. And I don't think if their player had been sin-binned, hadn't been sin-binned previously, I don't think Matty Lees gets sin-binned. It's almost a tit for tat. I don't think it's warranted as a yellow card, but that's the nature of the game. We accept it, move on. But there's a number of penalties in there which are avoidable from us, and we need to improve there. The back end of the year in important games, there can be big momentum shifts. So yeah, it's an area that we need to continue to work hard on.
Did you give yourselves a chance in the game? Not just with that, but how much ball went down? Yeah,
well, that's the other side of it. The errors, and it's not just errors. If we're attacking in at their line and we don't quite nail the pass, to a winger or something like that, and you've got opportunity. Well, I want players to take those opportunities, but we're making too many fundamental, basic errors coming out of our own end, and then off the back of that, having to do a fair bit of defending. I love the way the team competed. I love the way that we acquitted ourselves in terms of our effort and energy, and what we did indeed. We conceded 2 tries. One was a bit of a one-on-one miss there, a bit of a learn for young Harry, and the other one was a poor reaction to a ball that hit the deck. But there's a number of times in the game, particularly on our right edge, we really did scramble hard and turned up to save some tries. And I love those types of efforts. Jack Wellsby tackling Matty Ashton over the sideline late on in the game. Love that. So there's a lot to like about it in some respects, but there's also a realisation that in the big games at the back end of the year, there's certain aspects of our game that we need to clean up if we're going to give ourselves a chance.
Was there enough threat, or have you really? The number of times you were in there 20 isn't enough for you, isn't it?
No, we weren't in there enough. It's a kind of bit of where we are at the moment. Like the situation is what it is. We don't get quite out of our own half, as well as we would normally do so, but that's the situation that we're in. And yeah, in terms of opportunities, I think in the first half, very start of the game, we had a couple of sets going in at their line. Obviously got a penalty, took the 2, and then I think very early got a good ball opportunity towards them till the back end of the game. So yeah, opportunities were few and far between, and hence why the scoreboard finished the way it did.
Can you put your finger on why there are so few opportunities with the ball? Like you said, there was hardly any. But is there something missing, or was it Warrington pressure?
I think you have to, in some ways, in a lot of ways, credit the opposition. They made it difficult for us. But yeah, we just need to. I think the errors and discipline that you mentioned take a lot of energy out of the team. So when you've done that, when you get the ball back in hand, you're digging deep to try and find something there. So I thought we were attritional. We stuck at the task, got through to the end of our set, kicked the ball, kicked chase really well. We challenged off the back 5, but handled it pretty well for most of the day. But yeah, there's just that little bit of something lacking at the moment that we're going to need to find moving towards the back end of the year.
Jack played today. Jack Wellsby's back. What was the plan for him today? Was it to give him a certain amount of minutes, and did it result in him having to play?
Yeah, well, after discussing with the medical staff, the plan was for him to play half a game, which the intention was to bring him on at 6 at half time. We felt we needed to make that change a little earlier. I think it was 5-6 minutes before half time when he come on. Yeah, but the plan was to always play in limited minutes, and I've got a choice to make as a coach there. Do you want Jack Wellsby on the field short term, or limited it, or do you not want him there at all? Well, obviously, given how talented a player he is, I opted for to have him out there in the knowledge that he wasn't going to play a full game.
Mike, in your credit column, you touched on your kick chase game. You really contained them for very long periods, so it must have been really frustrating that when you got the ball, you did turn it over. But that aspect of your game must have been pleased with.
Yeah, I was pleased with that, and that's kind of what I quite like about the team at the moment is that we were lacking that for a number of weeks, and we've really worked hard on regaining that in the last few weeks, and there's a commitment there from the group to really want to do it and work hard to do it, because that type of play, it is a want. You've got to want to push yourself to the limits, and we've got a number of players like Matty Lees and Morgan Knowles through the middle again, incredible. Like the amount of work that Jay Burns gets through. I thought George Delaney, he came on after around 20 minutes and played the game out. You know, some incredible efforts out there. Sione out wide was excellent. So you know, there's a lot to I like about, you know, some of the stuff we did as a team, some of the stuff individuals did in there, but also there are those areas of the game that if we don't improve on, we're going to make it very difficult to give ourselves a chance at the back end of the year.
They're a team with real threat, aren't they, all the way through, Paris in the middle and on the edges. You did contain that, didn't you?
Yeah, we contained them pretty well, and it was only off the back of, like say, our own mistakes that we gave them opportunity, and then obviously defended our line for a few sets, and then obviously the first strike came off the back of, again, one of our errors. You know, I think we'll eliminate that. You may be going at half time 6-2 or something, and it's a completely different look. But that's not the case. You know, this is high-end professional sport. You get punished for your mistakes, and that's the way it should be.
Was it just a case of not thinking and not reacting to the Alex Walmsley knock-on?
Yeah, I think as a collective, you know, some did react, some didn't. And what we need is a collective reaction there. And I think if we react in the right way across the board, Matty Ashton gets tackled, and then we defend another set out. Well, that's what we're going to be required to do at the back end of the year, because at some point from now until October the 12th, hoping that we're going to drop the ball coming out of yardies again, and we're going to have to react in a different way.
Is it hard for your guys? I mean, I'm not talking about you containing them, but is it hard for you guys getting off your line with your back three as well today?
Yeah, it made it difficult for us, and look at like in T and Benno and Harry, you've got, you know, three the great kids, all brave kids, carry the ball with intent, but they are smaller bodies. They can only work with what they've got there, but they don't lack for bravery, you know, one bit. I mean, T, you know, uses his footwork, you know, quite often draws a penalty out of the opposition, things like that. You know, Benno's as courageous a player as you'll come across. So I can't be critical of them. I can't ask them to be 6'4".
Yeah, Harry okay? Did he come back on? Did he? Is Harry okay?
Well, he's got a bit of an issue with his knee, which is why he had to leave the field. Which is why Jack Wellesby went to full back. The plan was not to play Jack Wellesby at full back at all, in terms of that discussions that we had with physios. But yeah, but we'll get him assessed. It's hard to tell at this moment in time.
In terms of testing hamstring out, it'll be a bank on him speeding across there to try and pull Matty Ashton down there. Did it all right there, didn't he?
Yeah, his hamstring showed up pretty well then, didn't it? So like, no, it's things like that please me as a coach, is that you know, he shows an effort and a desperation there to tackle Matty Ashton over the sideline. Again, we're going to need that moving forward. So, you know, effort players like that are huge, and you know, I'm hoping that those types of players will pay off and work in our favour at the back end of a game in a really important game for us.
Everybody else come through okay, do you think?
Yeah, generally there's obviously, as you can imagine, this stage here, there's a number of ice packs getting thrown around in the room. You know, players looking after the bumps and bruises, but all in all, other than Harry that we need to get checked out, I think obviously I'll come off with a bit of a knee issue there, which we need to get checked out. But hopefully we come through okay.
Obviously, when there's cards issue, it's always concerned that the match review panel will come up with something. How worried are you? I know you can't preempt the match review, but how worried about Matty?
Well, having watched it, sat here now, I'm not overly worried, because I think it's a penalty at best. If you have to accept the yellow card, then yeah. I think if blokes end up missing games for that, then I'd be gobsmacked.
Again, must win now on Friday. Must win again. How's this week going?
Well, first and foremost, we need to recover well. We've only got one main training day, that'll be on Tuesday. So we potentially got a couple of guys returning. A few guys trained this morning, did a tough session, so we'll monitor their response. You know, the likes of Darryl Clark, the likes of Lewis Dodd, see how they are, you know, during the course of the week, and then obviously come up with a team to you know, play in what is a very important game for us against Castleford next Friday.
Has Moses been doing enough at 7 to actually attempt you to try and keep him there, because the way he can control the game? Potentially
he's been doing a really good job. You know, he kicks the ball really well. Again, we'll have to see how you know, things scrub up there, because what we are lacking at the moment is depth at 9. That might change next week if we were to get Darryl back. So we just have to see how things pan out during the course of the week.
Paul, how far off is Curtis?
He's had a bit of a setback, so Curtis probably won't play in the regular rounds this year. He may be a chance, all being well, of making the first weekend of the playoffs, should we be taking part. So yeah, it's obviously not ideal, you know, particularly as Curtis, you know, has been one of our, you know, when he was fit, was one of our standout performers this year. So it's the cards we dealt, we deal with it, we move on.